My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Have you ever thought that you'd like to get into syndications and get a big deal, a multifamily project or a self-storage facility or a mobile home park under your belt, working with other people with limited partners, bringing on other GPs to get the job done? Well, if you've ever thought of that, clue in to today's episode, because Patrick Hancock has done exactly that. He's just this last year wrapped up his very first successful syndication, and that's what we're going to be discussing here today. Zooming in from beautiful Orlando, Florida. Pat, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. And as we had mentioned, it's quite chilly out today and sunny Orlando.
Who knows what people? Again, and you got zero sympathy for me, bud. It's January in Canada, so
I know.
Anyhow, Pat, give us a snapshot, because you do a lot of stuff. You do syndications, you've got your own portfolio, you've got a property management company, you're a broker, you're doing all sorts of things. So give us a little snapshot of what real estate investing looks like for you early 2025.
Yeah. So as you just mentioned, we wrapped up our first syndication. I've been in the business for over 21 years now. So my first investment property started, which as most do, with a single family. It was a condo in 2005. And, I've just kind of progressed since then, the typical progression where you start bringing on partners, raising capital. My first experience in the multifamily space was a quad. And as soon as I acquired that quad, and it was in Tallahassee, it just changed everything for me. I was immediately hooked. I had heard all the rumors, about how awesome, and the returns are better and this and that when you get into the multifamily space. And there's something about that quad that hooked me, that sold me. So I like to go big, the next step or whatever I do next, and challenge myself. So we decided to go, get into the syndication, and we got into that process, 2023. We started.
Hey, nice. All right. So Pat, you built up over years. You've done your first syndication. What does your portfolio currently consist of? What do you have in the portfolio, including the syndication? So
right now we've got the syndication deal, which is a 13-unit apartment building in Tallahassee, and then we've got the quad, and then we've got condos, single families, roughly about right around 30 doors right now that we own personally and are under our investment firm.
Cool. Now, when you do the property management, is that all just for your own properties, or do you manage other people's properties as well?
Both. We'll manage our own portfolio, and then we manage other properties for investors. And we currently right around 60 properties that we manage.
Okay, very good. When you say we, is that you and your poor, hardworking spouse, or who's we?
Oh, it's a team. I realized, a big team guy. I realized a long time ago, and you always hear it. It is a team sport. And I've got a great team. We've got probably, I like to go lean and mean, and very selective. And we've got around 20, 25 team members that range from property managers to, bookkeepers, real estate agents, our higher level people that help make everything go smoothly most of the time.
So how does the realty business fit into everything? Are you a commercial guy or a residential guy? What does your brokerage look like?
Both. I started out naturally back in the day at residential. Started out at your typical, big model brokerage, and then opened up my own brokerage back in 2007. Took me about 5 or 6 years to realize that commercial real estate wasn't so scary. And, Google became my best friend. And then I started learning, to reach out to people. And yeah, we do commercial and residential, and, both for sure.
Yeah. Well, now that you've done your first syndication, you're getting into multis yourself. You can really see things from both sides of the fence. You can,
for sure,
you can relate to those investors better. Very, very cool. All right. So you've got one of those, the fancy term is kind of a vertically integrated company, right? So you got the brokerage where you got access to deals. You've got the property management so you can take care of them. and then you're also doing syndications. You start to buy more properties that way. So, walk us through your first syndication. What were, off the top of your head, what were some of the big takeaways you've gotten from that first gig?
Yeah, it was as usual. It was a huge learning experience. Even though I've done the brokerage and the property management for years, when you're dealing, and we had to raise capital. We raised
Mm.
around $300,000. It was, like I said, I've had partners before, and where they were the capital guy and I was the real estate guy, but this was taking it to another level. So you immediately feel that pressure. And I'm a big due diligence guy, and I like to read a lot and learn as much as I can. And I knew, once again, it's a team sport, so I knew I had to assemble a team. So it was a combination of people that I worked with, people that I knew that were in the business, and your property manager, your project manager. So I assembled a team. My weakest area was in underwriting.
Mm.
I could calculate a 3% commission check in the calculator all day long, but when it came to underwriting a multifamily property, I didn't really start with the napkin underwriting. I jumped right into the massive spreadsheets. So I
Well,
knew I had
good.
to have
Yeah.
a
What I mean, you guys got to learn all that lingo and IRRs and all that kind of stuff and
yeah. So that was a huge
cap
learning
rates. And,
experience.
yeah.
But I'm a big who not how guy.
Mm.
I know my strengths and weaknesses, so I knew whoever I assembled and partnered with was going to complement my skill set. So
So,
and
so
that
how many
include
of you are there in partners in the GP side of things?
seven.
Seven
with this
GPs. Oh,
with this particular one, seven. And partly the reason I did that is because I knew I was going to continue to do and
okay.
grow and continue to do more syndications. And this year we're going to launch a fund, so I knew I'd be working with more general partners. So it was
Mm.
almost, in a sense, of vetting as well, because most of these partners were, it was the first time we had partnered in something. And I'm sure as have been in partnerships before. They can go great, they can go horribly wrong, they could be okay. So that's why we went with that particular number, higher than probably what we needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, just we know now next time who does what well, and who might be going forward and who may not
Who
be going
might
forward
not
with
be.
us.
Good thing to learn. Oh, it's not a bad idea, actually. That's for sure. Okay, so you've done the first one. Yeah, you got seven GPs. That makes splitting the pie, skinnies it down a little bit there.
It
But like
does.
you say, to get your feet wet, get that experience, get that proof of concept going, really helps you to launch the next one. So you mentioned you're looking at doing more deals this year, 2025. What kind of properties are you looking for now?
We've actually, given the market, given what's been going on still, the combination of rates and prices,
Yeah.
it has been, as everybody knows, it's been challenging the last, 12 to 24 months. So we've done what a lot of groups have done is we were going to, well, like I said, always trying to go bigger. So we were looking in that 50 to 100 range, but now we've scaled back. And if a good fourplex comes our way, or two quads next to each other, 8 units, and numbers look good, we'll look at that. It doesn't matter. We're not so concerned about the size and the number of doors anymore versus the deal itself and whether or not it pencils out and meets our returns that we want to get.
Yeah. So you were talking to me a little bit off camera that you guys are looking at starting a fund this year. Is that to make that whole process simpler? Because, yeah, doing a whole syndication for a fourplex is a little bit of overkill, that's for sure. So is that the idea of the fund?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's again, what's that next step to go bigger and challenge myself even more? We've done the syndication. It was a huge success. So to me, in my mind, I like that fund model. And so that's why we're opting to do that. I know raising capital is a little bit more challenging, but what we're looking at doing is we're looking at actually moving this property, since it was such a success, our exit into the fund. So the fund will have, upon its inception, will have a nice cash producing asset. That's a great story. Like you had mentioned earlier, proof of concept that we can do it. And yeah, so that's why.
So you're going to keep the asset but transfer it into the fund. Is that what I'm understanding?
For the correct, yes,
That's the
that's the
general idea.
plan. Yeah.
Very cool. So with the initial syndication, how many limited partners did you have that brought on the capital?
We had the limited partners we had with this first syndication, probably 6 or 7
Yeah.
in that
Yeah. So
range.
you raised 300 grand, so about 50 grand each kind of thing, give
Yeah,
or
yeah,
take. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. And you're going to be starting up the fund. That's good stuff. So when it comes to raising capital, always that's kind of what we specialize in. So what were some of your takeaways there, Pat, with this first syndication? Because I know you've raised capital for your own individual deals, more like a joint venture.
Yeah.
Syndication's a different kettle of fish. What are your
It,
takeaways?
it was one of the most surprising things as far as being a challenge in 21 years. It was one of those things where we started as a 503b, to allow family
Friends and
members,
family. Yeah.
friends and family. It was a smaller deal who aren't accredited to get involved. And my list of people that said I'm in was I'm 50 names long, but when it came time to collect and that capital call came, that list dwindled down to about 3 or 4 when we were struggling. So
Yeah,
I
it's funny how those soft commitments aren't worth the paper they're written on, huh? Because they're
oh I
typically
learned
not
that
written on paper. Yeah.
learned that real quick. So
Yeah.
it was quite humbling.
Yeah.
You think that the money, you got the money, it's all said and done, you don't have to worry about that aspect of it. But then, like I said, when it came time to collect, it was a lot more challenging. So going forward, we've done a lot more due diligence as far as our plan to raise capital. Basically treat it like a business. We've researched, we've learned it's like anything else, especially with real estate. It's relationships that you create. I know there are third party, capital raisers out there. So we've done a lot more research into the actually how to raise capital successfully in preparation for this fund, and when we went into the syndication.
Nice, nice. No, that's good. That's wise. So you were telling me that through this whole first syndication experience, you've decided to write a book that's going to be coming out this year. Heck, it might even be out by the time that this episode people are hearing this episode. Tell me a little bit about that. What's this? And I think it's your second book. So tell me what this is going to be about.
Yeah, yeah. So my first, I started it's always been one of my goals was to publish a book, and I probably spent 5 years, working on it until I made it a habit where the first thing I would do when I came into the office was sit down for 30 minutes and write it. So I finally got it done, and it was my first one was released in 2023 when it was published, and it's meant for basically for new real estate agents, just tips and tricks, and things that I've experienced over the years. And I started, I thought it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it, the process. And then I started working on my second book, which is the story of our first syndication.
Yeah.
So it's really, and then I realized kind of writing this one that my writing style is basically a form of my journaling.
Mhm.
My sections and chapters are very short. So I considered it an easy read. But yeah, the second book, hopefully it's scheduled to be published sometime this summer, is going to be about our first syndication, things that we did right, with a heavy focus on things that we did wrong to hopefully help others, not make the same mistakes that we did.
Nice. Yeah. Writing a book. Geez, I think I got 8 of them back there. But yeah,
Uh,
that's a lot of work, my friend. I actually hate writing. I get the appeal of journaling. I've just never been big into it. But I don't mind talking. So I typically talk my books and then take the transcript and clean it all up and edit the hell out of it and turn it
Love
into a
that.
book
That's a
that
great
way.
idea.
So
Yeah,
it makes it a lot faster. That's for sure.
that's a great idea, actually. Yeah.
So, Patrick, if people want to connect with you and find out more about what you're up to with either the syndications, the fund, the brokerage, the property management, where can they go? What should they do?
Probably the best place is our investment website, southernmountaincapital.com. And they can get a hold of me right there. Send me an email. My phone number is on there as well, and can contact me anytime.
Fantastic. Hey, Pat, congratulations on that first syndication. All the best with your fund and all of your other endeavors.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.